Hello. We're going to continue on. I'm going to go really quickly here through some of the plotting, what this stuff means. And the reason why is because sometimes I will plot at the same time I'm thinking of all my story aspects. I kind of go back and forth between these sometimes. Please check out Master Edit. It's a really awesome editing software. I think you'll love it. I love it. I use it all the time. So anyway, you test drive it. You just go to the link there in the description and take it for a test drive and see how it is. It's really cool. So we already went through world building. We already went through what need is. Then you have your desire. We know what that is. I kind of place these in the approximate area in which they happen in the storyline. So, at about 10%, you need to reveal what the need of the character is. And then somewhere between here and here, you need to reveal desire. Now, they might have one desire here, and then the desire changes here. In the Fisher story, the desire was to get money to fix his boat. But at first, to fulfill that desire, it was, I'm going to go catch these crabs. Then that changed here. The same desire, but different goal. Now he has a new plan. So plan to reach the goal, which was now he's going to go and take the people back, the sisters back to the homeland and get money that way. And hopefully still sell his crabs when he gets back. And then he'll have more than enough to fix his boat. The first action, this is happens around the same time, around this 25% mark. The first action is the first action they take into fulfilling their desire. Now, the first action he takes into fulfilling his desire actually is over here. That was to go on the crab thing. But that wasn't really... He does do an immoral thing, actually, because his boat is falling apart, and he shouldn't take it on the water, but he does anyway. He takes his chances, and his crew decides to go along with him. But then he takes another action. That you can call it the second action here. But anyway, so you might have a first action here or here. Then you have further actions. These are in further drive. So now he has this drive to push forward to reach his goal, and further actions, and there might be further immoral actions. That is, his boat is getting worse, and it's like he just fixes it up and decides, I'm going to keep going. We're not going to stop, And maybe, you have an ally attack. That is, one of his friends tell him, hey, look, this is wrong. We need to go back. You're putting us all in danger. You should at least tell them how dangerous this really is. Don't worry about it. He criticism. That's the criticism he gets from his allies or ally, and then his justifications. He needs to justify. He needs to have a good reason to continue. Then revelation. So this is a good place for revelation to happen here, here, and here. I already went through that before, so we know what a revelation is. These are a good place to have them. You have obsessive drive. So once you reach this halfway point, there's no turning back. Now he needs to have an obsessive drive. His drive needs to be driven more. The reason why his drive needs to get greater, his desire needs to, he needs to want what he needs greater, and you show that by how obsessed he is by getting it, is where he can go through all these crazy things that happen next, because this is where everything's thrown at him, and it just gets so difficult that it eventually breaks him, and all seems lost. But so you throw everything at him, and in this case, sea nymphs, crazy man-faced, weird flying creatures, storms, giant octopus, giant squid, whatever. And then he gets like a revelation, that he needs to love, whatever. Then he just gives it all. He gives it his all. But now he's given it his all. In this story, and the fisherman story is kind of strange because it's not like a super battle. It's a mental battle. It's a battle against his running away from his wife's death. And so he finally tells this sister how his wife died. He lets it go. He lets her in, makes love to her, loves her. Walls open up. That's like a metaphor too. The walls opening up once he lets her in is like the walls of his heart opening up. So there's like a, anyway, kind of a cool symbol there. Then you have your final battle, and I just went through that. Your moral self-revelation. So his moral self-revelation was that he needs to love. He needs to let his wife go, and that's how he's going to be happy. He needs to do this to be happy because fishing isn't working, running away is not working. Then he has a moral decision to make, and this could just be another conflict decision. Remember, went through conflict and what crisis means. So he had one of those in the very beginning, but he has another one here, and this can either be a moral decision or something like a conflict decision. He needs to decide, do I stay with her? It's kind of a moral decision. Do I stay with her, or do I go back? So I went through that. But another example would be in my first novel I ever wrote called Bending Nature. It's like a vampire romance adventure story. It's really cool. It's a YA novel. And So at the end, she needs to decide, does she become a vampire and defeat Venna and save the world, because Venna's bent on taking over the world with vampires, or does she just say, forget that, and let what happens, and, she can't be with Michael the vampire unless she becomes a vampire because he doesn't want to watch her die. So he refuses to be with her because of that. So she needs to decide to either be a vampire or not, and so she has that's her conflict, and she decides to become a vampire. But then she has another one at the very end, and that moral decision is, does she kill Venna? She has the opportunity to kill her or not, and she decides not to because it won't accomplish anything. But she ends up dying anyway. Then there's the thematic revelation. That's when we realize what the theme of the story is, and we might not realize it outright. We might not think of it as, oh, that's the theme, But it's when we realize kind of what the point of the story was. And it's best that the characters don't reveal what the theme is. It's best that the theme is revealed to us by what happens. So notice I didn't flat out reveal the theme in this quick fisherman outline. What I did is he tells the men, he says, he tells the men, look, you have my portion of money. Where I'm going, I don't need it anymore. Hey, take care of her. He's speaking of his boat. They say, but you love fishing. You love your boat. He says, yeah, but fishing was just a way for me to run away. I was just running away by fishing. And now he jumps in the water and swims to the sister. So it's like visual. There's a visualization there. He never states flat out what the theme is. It's all visualized. It's all revealed through the entire story. And it's only when you like, it's the way the story ends, though, that's the thematic revelation. So you want to try to avoid just flat out saying it. Okay. Then we have these things that we went through really quickly. So you have your setup. So the setup leads you into the opportunity. So the setup we went through really quickly was, to reveal their background, their everyday life, what they're going through. In this case, he's a fisherman. He's hurting because of his wife, and he works a lot to get away from the pain. So all that's set up, and it shows like his everyday life and kind of what he's doing. So you want to quickly set that up within the first 10%. So within like the first 8,000 pages of a novel, within the first 10 pages of a screenplay, you want to set this up. And then at this point, the 10% point, they have an opportunity. In this case, it was, he gets to go fishing and catch some crab where he can fix his boat up. And then that leads into this new situation. So the new situation is, now he's not just sitting back doing nothing with his boat and stuff. Now he's out there on the sea, and they're catching crabs. And then you have the monkey wrench. Something goes wrong. They find these women and pull them in from the lifeboat, and they give them a conflict. Hey, we need to get back and help our brother. We have this herb. We need to go right now. We can't wait for you to catch a crab and go back and all this. Please take us. He's going to die. Oh man, what do I do? Do I save these women's brother by taking them back, or do I lose my money and my boat possibly? Can my boat even make it? That's another thing he has to think about. And then the progress is from here to here. So he starts making progress towards that goal. That is, he's making progress to get them back. There's not a whole lot of obstacles in his way, and it seems pretty easy. He seems like, okay, I'm going to do this. Everything looks good. And then he reaches this point here, the no turning back mark. This is when, I can't go back now. I don't have enough fuel. I don't have enough crabs. I don't have enough time. Even if I do go back now, it doesn't matter. All is lost pretty much as far as turning back. There's no reason to turn back now. Might as well keep pushing forward, get my money from turning these girls in. Then you have complications. This is where all your big complications, the most obstacles happen. You can actually even push this back a little bit too. And but this is the hardest part to write, this middle part, because this is where the big journey takes place. I should maybe draw a line and say big journey, because this is actually from here to here is like your huge journey. That's like a big chunk of your story, but really it's from here to here too. Okay, so again, please check out Master Edit. We'll come back and go through these last little parts, and then we'll begin with more detail of all of this and how I use it, for you can see it being used in real time. And I'm going to develop a story live for you. I'm going to develop my fantasy story live here in front of you. And I don't know what's going to happen, so I'll see how it turns out. Hopefully it turns out really cool. If not, I'll just do it again and again until I come up with something I like. But I bet you it does come out nicely. All right, so there it is, the description, Master Edit. Check it out. It's awesome.